The Art Adamson meet is a traditional meet for us. We've hosted on our campus for probably nearly 2 decades. Coach Adamson coached here from 1939 to 1969, so it's quite a runny head coaching here. I mean, there's a lot of good teams coming in for it on the men's side. We have a couple of SEC teams coming. We have Alabama, we have LSU. I also have USC and Southern California coming in, TCU, Air Force. So it's a good cross-section of teams. This is something that we get excited for every year. This is pretty much the focus meet of our fall. When people come into this meet, I know specifically, Alabama is coming here because we're hosting SECs in February. I know Alabama wants to come in, and some in our pool, they have some people who have never been here before. So it should be a pretty exciting time. This is a prep for our SEC championships. We historically do dual meets or invites. We only do one invite, and this is it. It's a 3-day invite, and it's the closest thing we have to get ready for our SEC championship, which is a 4.5-day meet. So there'll be a lot of excited people over on the pool deck over at the student rec.
All right, let's go back to TV row. We'll go to Tyler on the left side.
Yeah, Coach, I mean, you've had a couple of, dual meets so far, but does a meet like this, I mean, you already kind of said it prepares you, but is this kind of more of a better gauge of where you guys are at as a team and, especially as you're looking towards, the SECs?
It is a better gauge just because of the duration of it. And you're having to, some a prelim in the morning and a finals at night. And some of our guys are obviously going to be doing a couple events a day with relays. So it's just for this week, it'll be 6 sessions in a row. It's a 3-day meet, prelims and finals each day. So it does get us ready for an SEC meet and an NCAA championship meet. It's the closest thing we do to really get ready for it as far as meet preparation.
With what you've seen so far from your team, what are kind of your expectations out of this weekend?
We really, expect to get our relays qualified for NCAAs. It's really hard to get all 4 guys together on the same page at the same time because you're obviously competing against everybody else around the country at this point. So the relays are going to be really important for us. Historically, there's been a couple of these years we've got through and got all of our relays qualified at this meet, and that's just a huge amount of pressure. I think a team is a lot freer, take some chances on some later things after they know they've already qualified. So that's probably job number 1. But we will have some guys that make NCAA qualifying times this week. It is going to happen. Also, our divers are going to be competing in Austin this week, so it's a little bit different. Adamson meets a little bit different this year because it's just swimming only. The Texas invite is happening over in Austin on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and so our team is kind of split a little bit this week between swimming and diving. Divers chose them to go over to Austin just because of that meet over there is going to be talking about a preview for NCAAs. It's going to be happening in Austin this week for the divers. So the level of competition they're going to face over there is going to be pretty a great preparation. We'll really be able to see a whole lot about our divers after that.
Let's go to the front right to Travis.
You mentioned your relay teams. Where do you feel like they are in their progression for the season, and what do they need to take the next step on to get to that point?
With the relays, specifically in the 200 relays, the relay takeoffs are just incredibly important, and we're going to be relying on a couple of freshmen to put up in that situation. A couple of them are not used to how refined a relay start needs to be on an NCAA level, and so that'll be interesting for us to see how those guys respond because we're going to be counting on quite a few of them. We're just going to throw them up there and tell them to get it done. The relays, in order to make an A standard, that's the only way you're going to know that relay is going to really be at the meet. And the A standards, I mean, every year our coaching staff and coaches around the country are just floored by how fast you have to go just to make the A cut. So a lot of it's just getting all 4 of those guys together at the same time. Because I know we have guys we have 4 guys on campus that can make the A in all the relays. But the question is, can we do it all at the same time?
Let's go to the left side to Robert Cessna from the Eagle. Coming.
So I think last time we talked to you, you talked about going in, being ranked, the youngsters or whatever. So how have they come along in those meets? And I think you You went against Texas, so I know that's always a major success. So what about that? Where are you at?
Yep, I mean, the freshmen so far, particularly Baylor Nelson, Connor Foote, they've been pretty much as advertised. Both of those kids were top 20 recruits in the country. No matter the event, they were really highly ranked, and they've been. I mean, Baylor's been really impressive, and we knew he was a racer. We knew that he has. He's not that big of a kid, but he's just. It's amazing when he steps on the blocks how big he swims. Connor Foote's the other one. Connor Foote's still a little bit green, but he still was a finalist for the USA Today. High school swimmer of the year. He was a finalist for that, and it's interesting for us to see him in situations because he still knows that it's a pretty simple sport. You just got to whoever touches the wall first wins. But the process is to get him there. I think he's still adapting to. But the beauty about Connor is he's not making it too complicated. And so he's been really, both those guys have been really good. We have a couple other guys that's just going to take some time to adjust. I mean, Kolowin Levtrov from Bulgaria, it's taken him a while just to adjust to America. But we see it in practice. We see that he's there. He was ranked 17th in the world last year in the entire world in the 200 back. So we see it in practice every day. He's going to come around. Hopefully it's this weekend, but if it's not this weekend, it'll be pretty soon. So we have some really good guys in place, and a lot of them are young, and so we're pretty excited about that. But meets like this is where it's time for them to step up. Did that answer your question, Robert? That give you something? Oh yeah, well Texas, yeah, that dual meet that wasn't that much fun when we went over there. That was. It was a great learning experience because it was a double duel between us in Indiana and us in Texas. And so granted, whenever you do a lineup in that situation, you're competing against both teams at the same time. And we got caught in the middle of a buzzsaw between when Indiana and Texas were dueling each other, and there wasn't much that we could do about it. So that was frustrating for our team. It was frustrating being there and not being able to do much about it at the time, but that's just part of our learning curve.
All right, let's wrap it up with Ben Peck in the back.
Coach, just what have you seen from Andres this year, just with him trying to improve on, some of his All-American finishes from previous years?
Yeah, I mean, Andreas is just almost the harder stuff we give him, the more we ask of him, the more he trains better. And so we've just been continuing to push him and challenge him. He came in as a freshman. He got second at SECs, and he just had a great freshman year. And he's gotten a little bit better every year, but he hadn't had that jump since then. And so we expect to see that this year. We really do, because he has got a little bit better sophomore year, a little bit better as his junior year. But just from what we see in the water every day, and it's anytime you get a team together and they're all training together, and you start. The banter going back and forth gets to be really entertaining. So there's a lot of banter between the guys that think that they're going to beat Andreas in practice. And so far, Andreas just throws it back at him every time in competition. It's very entertaining.
All right, I think that's a wrap.
All right, thank you much.